Hey my friends and family, welcome back to another episode on Country Kitchen. Today we're going to be making the delicious sweet potato pudding. Who doesn't like sweet potato pudding? Alright, it's going to be quick and easy, so stay tuned. So right here I have one large potato, two medium and one small. I'm going to peel them. I already rinsed them. I'm going to peel them and I'm also going to grate them along with my coconut. So I always find coconut very difficult to grate ever since I was a young girl. So I went ahead and I grated the coconut first, get the harder one out of the way, and then I went in and grated my sweet potatoes. And I'm using the smaller part of the grater, even though it's on the side, which is the opposite side from the Jamaican graters. So it's kind of harder because it's right in that little corner and it's harder to use. So now that I've finished grating my coconut and my sweet potatoes, I am going to grate a piece of white yam. If you have yellow yam, you can use that, but I only have white yam, so I'm going to grate a piece of white yam, and this is going to act as a binding agent for the potato. You know, potato is kind of watery and it's not going to hold together, so you need a little flour and a little yam to help to bind it together. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to grate the yam and then we're going to mix up our dry ingredients. So in here I have 2 cups of flour, and your ingredients is all depending on the amount of pudding that you're making. I'm going to put up all the ingredients on the screen and in my description box where you can go and write it down. But I have 2 cups of flour in here and I have half cup of cornmeal. The cornmeal is optional. I like the taste of the cornmeal in the sweet potato pudding, but you don't necessarily have to add cornmeal. I know some people don't like it, so if you're one of those person, you can just omit the cornmeal and add a little more flour. But this is just gonna help to bind the potato together and keep it from being watery. Alright, so I'm grating some nutmeg here, and as I said before, I will put up the amount up on the screen. I'm just judging, but I've been baking and cooking for a long while, so most of them I don't use any measuring, but just for the sake of the video, I'll put up the measurement up on the screen or in my description box. So after adding the dry ingredients, I just use a spoon to combine everything, and now we're going to prepare our liquid ingredients. So in this bowl I have 3 cups of coconut milk, and I'm going to use 2 for the mixture and 1 for the soft up. I added 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of melted butter and my sugar. I'm just going to make sure all of that is properly combined before adding it to my dry ingredients. So before adding my liquid ingredients, I'm just adding some of my coconut mixture that I grated, and this is gonna add a nice little crunch to your sweet potato. And then I'm gonna gradually add my liquid ingredients. You don't want this to be runny, you just want it to come together soft and nice, but not too liquidy, if you understand what I'm saying. You'll see the texture when I'm done mixing. Alright, so after adding all my liquid ingredients, this is the texture that you're looking for. As you can see, it's nice and soft, but not too soft and runny, and it's not dry. You see that? It falls nicely from the spoon. It's not running from the spoon. Alright, so it's not supposed to be too runny. So now I am gonna put it in my baking tin. I already greased it with some butter, and I have my stove preheated at 350 degrees, and I'm gonna bake this for 1.5 hours before adding my soft top. I somehow run out of foil paper, so what I'm gonna do is add a oven proof plate on the top of this so that it can cover it and give the potato time to cook, because I know potato takes a long while to bake. So I'm gonna bake it for 1.5 hours, and then I'm gonna take it out and add my soft top. As you can see, the other baking tin was not big enough for all my mixture, so I added the remaining in a small one just for a taste tester. So remaining in my bowl, I have 1 cup of coconut milk, and I'm gonna add some grated nutmeg and a little cinnamon just to add some flavor for my soft top. And I'm also going to add a teaspoon of molasses. That's gonna add a little flavor and a little color to the top of my pudding. If you're going to make this pudding, don't feel pressured to get any molasses. If you don't have any, that's just fine. That is just me adding something extra to my pudding, but you don't necessarily have to. As you can see, the nice brown color, that's a color that I want for my pudding, so that is why I added the molasses. My pudding have been cooking for 1.5 hours now. I am going to throw the soft top on both of them and pop them back in the oven for another hour without the cover. So there you have it, guys. It's about 10 o'clock in the night, so I'm just gonna put them down to cool until the next day. We're gonna cut into them, and then you'll see the texture of this pudding. All right, and when it cools overnight, it's gonna get darker, so it's gonna look a bit different. So I'm just gonna try and remove it from the pan, and then we are going to cut into this delicious sweet potato pudding, and I'll give you guys a slice, don't worry. So my daughter was hanging around waiting for a slice of the pudding, so I'm gonna cut a nice thick slice for her. But before I give it to her, I'm going to show you guys how nice and thick this texture is. It was nice and delicious. As you can see, it's firm, it's not soft and saggy. All right, so there you have it, our country kitchen sweet potato pudding. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel for more delicious recipe. And as always, walk good, show your neighbors and your friends some love, and stay safe.